Lord Cutler Beckett murders anybody accused of or remotely involved with piracy in order to expand his and the East India Trading Company's authority in the Caribbean. Beckett, who now controls Davy Jones' heart, commands Jones to destroy all pirate ships. Condemned prisoners bravely chant a song to bring the Fourth Brethren Court of 9 pirate lords to Shipwreck Cove and take action against Beckett. Captain Jack Sparrow, the pirate lord of the Caribbean, on the other hand, never chose his successor and must therefore attend. Captain Barbassa guides Will, Elizabeth, Tia Dalma, and the crew of the Black Pearl to Jack's rescue. Sa Fong, the South China Sea pirate lord who lives in Singapore, has a map to World's End, the entrance to Davy Jones' locker, where Jack is eternally imprisoned. Elizabeth and Barbassa deal with Fong for the map and a ship, but Fong is enraged that Will tried to steal it earlier. The British Royal Navy, led by Mercer and acting on Beckett's orders, launches a surprise attack on Feng's bathhouse. During the ensuing pandemonium, Will strikes a deal with Fong for the Black Pearl in exchange for Sparrow, whom Fong wishes to hand over to Beckett in exchange for immunity from Davy Jones' pirate raids. Will desires that the Black Pearl save his father from the Flying Dutchman. The group sails through a frozen sea and over a massive waterfall into the locker. Sparrow, stranded on the Pearl, has frequent hallucinations of an entire crew made up of himself, each representing a different aspect of his personality. Jack is reunited with his old shipmates when the Pearl is inexplicably transported to an ocean shore by crab-like animals, probably dispatched by Tia Dalma, as she is seen caressing a crab as the crew moves. He is initially hesitant to rejoin a team that contains 4 people who attempted to kill him, one of whom, Elizabeth, succeeded. Dead souls are seen floating by underwater as the Black Pearl crew searches for an escape route. Tia Dalma tells that Davy Jones was appointed to convey the dead to the next world by Calypso, goddess of the sea and his beloved. Jones was granted 1 day on land every 10 years to be with his love. However, when she failed to meet him, the scorned captain abandoned his duty and morphed into a monster. Elizabeth witnesses the soul of her father, Governor Weatherby Swan, pass by in a boat, having been assassinated by Cutler Beckett after Swan became suspicious of the heart. Swan reveals that whomever stabs Jones in the heart becomes the immortal captain of the Flying Dutchman. Elizabeth, heartbroken, swears vengeance. The Black Pearl remains stuck in the locker until Sparrow deciphers a map clue and realizes the ship must be wrecked in order to return to the living world. The ship is overturned at sunset and returns to the living world when the sun rises, marked by a green flare. When the crew stops at a little island to replenish supplies, they come across the carcass of the Kraken, killed by Jones on Beckett's instructions, and Jack knows how serious the threat to piracy's existence truly is. They are ambushed further in by Sa Fong, who exposes his secret pact with Will. He betrays Will, though, by making another agreement with Cutler Beckett to hand up the crew while keeping the Black Pearl. The Endeavour arrives, and Sparrow is taken aboard, despite his refusal to tell Beckett where the Brethren Court will meet. Instead, Jack devises a plan to lead Beckett to where the pirates will meet and lure them out for Beckett to destroy, in exchange for Beckett protecting him from Jones. When Beckett betrays Fong, he trades with Barbassa to exchange the Pearl for Elizabeth, whom he believes is Calypso trapped in human form. Fong destroys the Endeavour, allowing Jack to flee. Fong informs Elizabeth on board his battleship, the Empress, that the First Brethren Court locked Calypso into human form so that mankind may dominate the waters. Davy Jones launches an attack on Feng's ship. Fong, who has been severely wounded, appoints Elizabeth as the new commander and pirate lord of the South China Sea. She and the crew are then imprisoned in the brig of the Flying Dutchman. Admiral James Norrington is also on board, and after regretting his previous acts, he releases Elizabeth and her crew. They make it to their ship, but Norrington is killed by Will's insane father, Bootstrap Bill, after he discovers Norrington assisting Elizabeth and her crew in their escape. Will scatters floating corpses for Beckett's ship to follow. Will is apprehended by Jack, who hands him his magical compass so Beckett may find Shipwreck Cove. Will is rescued by Beckett's ship after Jack throws him overboard, and it is revealed that Davy Jones masterminded Calypso's captivity by the first pirate lords. The 9 pirate lords introduce themselves and present the 9 pieces of 8 at Shipwreck Island. When they learn the reason for the meeting, they disagree over releasing Calypso. Captain Teague Sparrow, keeper of the Pirata Codex and Jack's father, is summoned by Barbassa to confirm that only a pirate king can declare war. Elizabeth, the newly ordained pirate lord of the South China Sea, is elected pirate king when a stalemate is broken by Sparrow's voting for her. Each pirate lord only voted for herself. She directs the pirates to attack Beckett. Elizabeth and Barbassa switch Sparrow for Will during a debate with Beckett and Jones. Barbassa dupes the other pirate lords into handing him their pieces of 8 rank insignias, which he needs to liberate Calypso, who is bound as Tia Dalma in human form. Will reveals that her lover, Davy Jones, betrayed her to the Brethren court as Barbassa releases her in a right. Just as the Navy's vast fleet approaches on the horizon, her rage unleashes a catastrophic maelstrom. Sparrow escapes the Flying Dutchman's brig during the battle and steals the dead man's chest. Meanwhile, Davy Jones murders Mercer and obtains the key to the chest, which Jack steals from Jones in a duel. The Black Pearl and the Flying Dutchman collide near the heart of the huge whirlpool. Captain Barbassa marries them in the heat of combat after Will proposes to Elizabeth. Will joins the Flying Dutchman to get the chest, but Davy Jones kills him. Sparrow, who desired the heart for his own immortality, places his broken saber in Will's hand and assists him in stabbing Jones' heart, killing Jones. As the crew carves out the deceased Will's heart and sets it in the deceased man's chest, Jack and Elizabeth flee the Flying Dutchman, which sinks into the maelstrom. Beckett moves to attack the Black Pearl, never intending to honor his promise with Jack. The Dutchman reappears from the depths, with Will as captain and the crewmen transformed into humans. Will and Sparrow use the Flying Dutchman and the Black Pearl to destroy the Endeavour and assassinate Beckett. The Armada is in chaos as it retreats. Despite the fact that Will has been saved and the Dutchman crew has regained their humanity, he is still obligated to sail the seas as the Dutchman's captain. Will and Elizabeth enjoy one day together in which they marry on an island. Will departs at sunset, but first hands over the dead man's chest to Elizabeth for safekeeping. Soon after, Barbassa commandeers the Black Pearl once more, stranding Jack and Gibbs in Tortuga. Sparrow, anticipating Barbassa's trickery, has previously removed the map center, which leads to the Fountain of Youth. A green flare illuminates the sky in a post-credits scene set 10 years later, with Elizabeth and her and Will's 9-year-old son standing atop a sea cliff. The Flying Dutchman emerges on the horizon, sailing towards Will Turner's family.